As a child, I had a series of musical experiences that moved me to tears, and I can remember them vividly to this day. There was that moment in Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto when, sitting in the audience, I suddenly began to weep for joy at the sound of the music. I was only 8 years old. When I was about 15, I'd learnt to play the piano myself, and I was in a rehearsal of Benjamin Britten's St. Nicholas. And when the tenor soloist, accompanied by the full organ, opened his mouth for the first time and sang, "God be glorified," I nearly fell off the music stool. This was when I discovered for myself the power of the human voice and how it can open the floodgates of emotion. I knew I had to become a musician, and I went on to study music and enjoyed an amazing, if somewhat traditional, career. I became artistic director of what is arguably the world's most beautiful 18th century theatre, the Drottningholm Court Theatre, just outside Stockholm. And I developed what I thought was an exciting vision for its future, investing all my energy in realizing it. Then I got embroiled in some personal conflicts, and my job came to a sudden end. All that I'd built up was to be knocked down, judged to be of no value. I had to reevaluate my life. Was I on the wrong track? One thing was clear, however. I was certainly not ready to give up on my musical journey. Soon afterwards, a friend from the UK contacted me about an exciting initiative in Stockholm, based at the Erik Erikson International Choral Centre, called Music and Humanity. Why had I not heard about this? So I went along to this music festival. I heard several choirs, including the Manado State University Choir from Indonesia, and I met their musical director, Andre de Quadros. Wow, I was bowled over once again by the power of the human voice. Andre's choir didn't just sing, they interacted with the audience through the music of their voices, the movements of their bodies, and their evident passion for communication. This was music and humanity in practice, and I had never experienced anything like it. I went to seminars and I took masses of notes, and I learnt about Andre's empowering song approach, how song can break down barriers between people through the singer's compassion and empathy, and how it can build community, integrating refugees, for example. Since moving on from Drottningholm, I'd been developing some work at Lilla Akademin, the music school in Stockholm. And I really wanted my student chamber choir there to experience the singing of the Indonesians. So, first of all, we put on a concert of our own at the Erik Erikson Hall, using some of the ideas that I'd learnt at the festival and which I had shared with the students. I was really struck when two of the students from the choir had the idea of working ourselves with some refugees here in Stockholm. Now the choir is partnering with a teenage refugee choir from a neighbouring town. My students had discovered that music is not just an optional extra, it's a life-changing force. It can harmonise differences and even pave the way for peace. The students had not only experienced the emotion of the human voice, as I had as a child, but they wanted to harness its power for the good of society and to experiment with ways in which it could integrate refugees. For myself, I feel that I have found a new direction for my own music making. I've discovered that missing element. And had I not lost my job at the theatre, these things might never have happened. I might never have had the chance of discovering about the Music and Humanity Initiative. I might never have found out about the pioneering work of Andre de Quadros and his colleagues. I feel that I'm right at the beginning of a new musical adventure.